let's go ahead and get into it. I do not rely on my own understanding. And what I want to say is rely on the understanding of the divine, rely on the true understanding of God. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because a lot of people may disagree, and you might disagree with what I'm about to say. But when I've heard about you are the God of your reality, you create the things that you desire. Absolutely. And the way you create those things is due to your perception and how you perceive the world and how you look at the world. Okay. Now, I believe that I am God of my reality. I am God of my emotions, my thoughts, and my feelings. I control internally what is within me, but I do not control externally what is outside of me. So when there is something that is external and that is out of my control, I truly do rely on the understanding of God to help guide me through that. Whether it's a situation at work, whether it's a situation in my love life, whether it's a situation with friends, whether it's a situation with finances, whatever it is, I only rely on the understanding of God. I rely on his understanding because he is the one that actually helps me and guides me and delivers me from the things that I am facing through the turmoil, through the trials and the obligations and the obstacles that are coming my way. I do not rely on my understanding. Even I do rely on even his understanding internally, because God does move. He does move through me. He does speak through me, right? And the reason I wanted to say, stay with me. The reason I wanted to say, do not rely on your own understanding, is because when we are manifesting, we tend to have this, I want to control everything. You cannot control what is externally outside of you. There is no possible way that you can do that. And if you can, then you must not be human, and you must be a part of another species, and you must be just a famous superhero that we just don't know about undercover. But you cannot control everything. So stop trying to control things that are out of your control and start to control the things that are within your control. Start to control your feelings, start to control your thoughts, start to control your emotions. Start to control the things that are happening to you, your health. Your physical health, you can control that. Your spiritual health, you are in control of that. Your mental health, you are in control of that. Your soul, your heart, those things, you are all in control of the things that are happening within you. Your perception of how you are viewing whatever is happening in your life as we speak. Now, a lot of people don't want to realize this. And some people say, I heard one Uber driver, he said, I said, hey, is there anything that you ever really wanted to do, as far as like with your life and stuff like that? And he said, man, I been did that. Let's just be realistic. You can't do that. I tried a business, didn't work, whatever. Now I could have been like, oh no, that's not true. You could have did this. I said, okay, I understand. However, his perception of how he saw whatever he saw, his perception of, when it came to his business. And, some people believe that not everyone believes that you could be a millionaire. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. But to me, I don't agree with that. I don't agree that you cannot create your life and live the life that you desire. I do not believe that if you really want something, that if you go for it, yes, you're going to fail. But that doesn't mean that that fail means that you're not going to eventually succeed. Okay? Because failure leads to success. Let's be honest here. So when he told me about that, I thought to myself, I said, his perception of how he sees the world is different. And that's totally understandable. A lot of us don't want to live in our imagination, and that's totally fine. Now, when you come to my channel and when you hear me talk, of course, I talk about the law of assumption and the law of attraction, because I am all about the universal laws. Okay. And the reason I'm all about the universal law is because what you think is what you shall become. So if you think that in this world, you must have a job, you must have a 9-to-5, you must work hard, then that is exactly what you are going to receive, right? And I know you guys are probably like, what does this have to do with the understanding of the divine? Hold on. And when you think this way, you are creating your reality that is around you. Now, the reason I say I decided to rely on God's understanding is because with God, all things are possible, right? So I said, when there's certain things that happen to me that I may not like, when there's certain things that may not go my way and I might be upset, instead of me going, and thinking, you know what, this is how life is, it is what it is, I pray, I get down, I say, listen, God, I am trusting in you, and I am trusting that everything is working out and will work out in my favor because I trust and I put my faith all in you. I am relying on your understanding. I am relying on you to guide me. If you told me not to move, I will not move. If it is not your decision, if it is not something that you want me to do, I will not do it, because I cannot rely on my own understanding and say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try to control everything and force things to happen. This is what we do with love. The actual love that you find, the true love that you find, the true love you seek. First off, you already found your true love. It's you. You are your number one. You are your true love. You've always been your true love. But this is what a lot of people forget. When we try to keep forcing a connection, we keep forcing it and forcing it. We actually, we make it harder for ourselves, and we make it harder for the next individual. And at some point, that person walks away. Instead of forcing things, and when you see things that you may not like, try to trust and still have faith within your beliefs. Have faith within the divine. Have faith within God, whatever you believe in, whatever your beliefs are in. Because when you cannot rely on your own understanding, because if you try to, then you're going to try to do something to mess it up. You're going to think that this is how things are supposed to be. You're going to assume the worst. You're going to assume that things cannot change. You're going to put yourself in a position or situation as to where you look at the way you look at life is in a negative light. And when you look at life in a negative light, you're going to continue to manifest those things in your reality. You're going to continue to create those things. So try to rely more on the understanding of the divine, whether that is the universe or God. But to me, God is the universe. And you are God of your reality. So control what is inside of you internally, and externally, leave it up to the higher. All right, bye.